to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
Hashtag justice for the Lock Shop. Welcome to the Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta. What is up, Lock Shoppers? Matt Iwanek in for Dustin Nielson. I'll actually be in for Dusty the rest of this week alongside Huss as Dusty's off doing something today for family, and then tomorrow he'll be on the morning show, and then he's off to Hamilton Thursday afternoon as he will then be there to get set for the East Final in the Canadian Football League as Montreal will be taking on the Ticats. We'll also have Riders hosting the BC Lions in the other game. That's coming up on Saturday. Lots to get to on the show today when Huss does join us. Some NHL discussion. Obviously, 5 games in the NHL tonight. The Jets falling yesterday to the LA Kings. The Oilers falling in a shootout to the Dallas Stars yesterday. Trev already putting the hat over his eyes. They're not happy about that one, which I think he's acting as if for most Oiler fans today as they blow yet another lead. Shane Bieber staying with the Jays. NFL trade deadline yesterday. Got to get all of that. And I do want to get into a little bit, if we can, if there's time. Live Golf is the news yesterday. 72 holes they're going to. The reason they're called Live is because LIV is 54. So now they're just forsaking their name to go to 72 holes for a tournament. It'll be interesting to see how much that draws people's interest to that. A couple things. They actually, I just learned this yesterday. They got rid of the shorts. They used to be, when they started, you're allowed to wear shorts. And apparently this year they got rid of that. Didn't know that. That's how much I watch Live Golf. But I know Huss is a big golf person as well. So I want to see if we can maybe get to his thoughts as well. Your thoughts always welcome. You could jump into the nasty chat right there on YouTube, or you could text us at 780-218-9999. We'll have to try to figure out some sort of lock shop parlay today as well. If you go on EST specials later today, we will have Jay's play of the day. We will also have the grandest parlay. Right now, the lock shop parlay from earlier this week on CFL, just an early one. Alouettes to win by 3 or more. Riders to win by 4 or more. That is plus 245 boosted. And we will also have the EST Screw It, Let's Do It parlay going up. Gager is just getting taken, like, just the anchors on Gager. The guy is crushing it right now. Everyone else just letting Gager down a little bit. I feel for Gager right now, but unfortunately for Oiler fans, Gager was right. He had Rantanen 2 points yesterday, while Rantanen had 3 against the Edmonton Oilers as the Dallas Stars were able to claw back and win that game in a shootout. Let's bring him into the show right now. It is Hustler from Winnipeg Sports Talk. Huss, how are we doing on this Wednesday?
Probably the same as everyone in Edmonton. A little choked about the result of our local team last night. I got to give the LA Kings credit, though. They were really good at home last night. That looked a lot like the Kings team over the last couple of years that, would throw 4 guys in the neutral zone, make it really tough to get in. It was a good hockey game. It was like I didn't think the Jets played poorly. They got an early disallowed goal that was very contentious. I think that they'd called it a goal on the ice. There's no way it gets overturned, and I guess that was the case the other way around. But not a great start to the road trip, and I was hoping that the Oilers might be able to do the Jets a favor and get a clean 2 points against the Dallas Stars last night. But what's that, a couple games in a row where they've had the lead and haven't been able to hold it down.
I believe it's 6 games this season. The Edmonton Oilers have blown, I think, 2-goal leads. It's 6 games. Yeah, Trev's confirming that for me. This season, yeah. They've only played 15 games, and in 15 of those, or in 6 of those 15, they've had a 2-goal lead, and they've blown them. Yeah. And it's their opening night against the Calgary Flames. They had that, and they blew it. I think they're, to me, to a degree, they're just going through the motions. One mistake, though, then leads to this big comeback, and they were struggling holding on to those leads. It's a little... I'm one of those people here in Edmonton where I'm not worried about the Oilers right now. Like, I don't have... I'm
not either.
Yeah, but there are some that there's like, I just let this roll off because it's just like, well, let me know once we get to January where this Oilers team is, because they're going to be a better team. They just will be. They don't play well to start a hockey season. In fact, their record right now is better than the last 2 seasons. So they will be fine. But doing it back-to-back nights is the concerning one for me. That's the one where I sit there and go, you just did it the night before. The night before you blew a lead. do you not think when you get up 2-0 or 3-1 last night, you'd maybe sit there and be like, hey, let's make sure we don't allow what happened last night to happen again. Like within 24 hours, you did it twice. So that's the big one for me. And yeah, this team just can't. They used to be just amazing in 3-on-3. Game would be over. And just they just can't get it done as much this season. So maybe Zach Hyman is a big contributing factor. And when he's back, we'll see later this week if he'll be good to go for Saturday or not, or when he might be closer to being good to go. But maybe he's just going to be that little spark that this team needs to get things going.
I got to tell you, that 3-on-3 bit that you just mentioned for both Edmonton and Colorado is the most puzzling number. That, I mean, you would think that those two teams are pretty much automatic.
Yeah.
When they get to 3-on-3. Like, I'll be honest, the Jets are pretty much automatic right now. They, like Scheifele, Connor, Morrissey, Hellebuck, those guys go out and more often than not straight up win the game, and they don't even get to shootouts. The Avalanche can throw out Makar and McKinnon, and I mean, God knows we know what the Oilers can throw it with. It is so puzzling that those teams with the most elite of talent in the NHL, when you break it down to 3-on-3, where it's even more impactful and means more, haven't been able to get the wins very often. But yeah, I'm with you on the Oilers. I mean, like, I have no worry. Although I do wonder when an Oiler team, and again, it's hard to do this knowing how much hockey they played the last couple of years. Like, that Stanley Cup hangover is real. If you're playing an extra 2 months than half the other teams in the league and a month more than just about everybody else, there is a tax that's paid, I think, in the upcoming season. We're seeing it right now with the Florida Panthers as well. Now, the Panthers are missing Barkov and Kachuk, so I think it's a little more understandable. But I have always wondered what this Oiler team would be like and what they'd be capable of if they came out of the gate with a good start. Like, if they actually, I mean, think of what the Jets have done last year and even this year without Lowry, without Sandberg, without Perfetti. They were 9-3, 9-4 now in the season. Like, the Oilers haven't won a division title since 1987.
Yeah. In my lifetime, they've never done it.
That is one of the craziest. Now, I realize there was the decade of darkness in between there, but I mean, even when they were winning the cups in 80 and 88, they were like, okay, we'll get there. And it just seems to be part of this team. Now, none of that really matters, as we all know, once you get to the playoffs. But, you know, having home ice, establishing yourself as the team to beat throughout the regular season, not a team that has to rely on their best players and be much better at playoff time. Always wondered what this incarnation of the Oilers would look like if it didn't take them 2 or 3 months to get going. But to your point, I mean, they have a better record than they've had the last couple seasons. I do think that they're better. Obviously, you guys will, you know, talk about the goaltending and, you know, whether that's an Achilles heel for them down the road. I guess we'll see.
I actually think, there will be a discussion point down the road. I know that for sure, and it still is right now. But I think Bouchard's taking a little bit more of the heat right now. Better game yesterday.
Oh yeah.
But just a bad start to the season that he's taken a lot. One thing that surprised me about the I haven't looked close enough at this. I've just been following the Oilers. The parity in the National Hockey League this year. It's something else. Like Max Bezozu in the Hangout, he pointed out, and I didn't look at this, that in the Eastern Conference, every team is above 500 or at 500 in regulation. Like,
Matt,
the Panthers are the worst team at 13 points in 13 games.
Going into yesterday's action, I'll pop it out in the conference just to see how that's changed. Going back into yesterday's action, you had 4 teams at 18 points, and then the entire rest of it's still the case. I mean, the Panthers are last in the conference at 13. Carolina's got the 5th seed at 16. Yesterday, that was actually the Leafs. So there was 2 points separating 5th to 16th. There's no separation. And here's the other thing. You look at last night. The loser point is so back. I mean, teams, like of the games last night, I was watching early on. The first 3 games all went to OT. The Oilers went to OT. So 5 of the first 6 games handed out 3 points last night. And then the final 4 games were decided in regulation. But the regulation losses are what'll kill you right now. I mean, if you go on a lot, if you go like lose 4 in a row in reg and you have no points to show, because even the teams that are losing are getting half of what you get for getting a win. So I don't know. That was a pretty fun night last night, to be honest, of NHL action. I mean, we had to wait so late, 9:37 puck drop for Jets Kings. So I had a lot of time to watch these other ones.
Yeah.
We did hit our parlay last night, which was a beauty, over 6-1, which Utah, Avalanche, and Ducks. And the Quack Attack is rolling right now. How about Anaheim 8-3-1 on the season so far, Matt?
Yeah, winners of 4 straight. I'm just actually seeing like last night or the win. Like I use ESPN a lot, and they have streaks for recent play. Like there's so many just losses ones for the Eastern Conference and win ones for the West. Like the last night was a very good night for the Western Conference against the East, but the Ducks. I have my feelings on the individual himself in Joel Quenneville, and I'm not so sure he still should have been given a shot at coaching again in the National Hockey League.
Ban him for life. Ban him for life.
But
Cancel.
The one thing is, he's a great coach, and you're seeing that right now with the Anaheim Ducks. I was not projected like seeing the Ducks would be at this position early. Now, and here's the one thing. Like I remember a few years ago with Dallas Aikens, they had a great start to the season, then Wales fell from under them and they came back down. With a guy like Joel Quenneville, I don't expect that as much from the Ducks. But where do the Ducks like fall down? Like I don't think they're all of a sudden in the McKenna conversation once we get to January.
I think they're making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think they're making the playoffs. Listen, think about their team right now. They have incredible young talent. Leo Carlson's got 18 points in 12 games. Cutter Gauthier turning into a stud. He had a hat trick last night. They have, I mean, and you think about the guys, the Jackson Lacombe they just signed on the blue line. I mean, they've got some great young pieces. They've got that psycho Radko Gudas as their captain. Yeah. But they brought in Jacob Trouba. They brought in Chris Kreider. They've got a Hall of Fame coach. I think the plan was for next year that this team would really take that ascension. But man, when you look at the West and you look at that Pacific Division, I mean, to me, it's wide open and a great start, the great start that they've had. History will tell you it goes a long, long way to do it. Like I've got a lot more faith in the Ducks hanging around in and around the wild card or the third spot in that division than I do the Kraken. I mean, to me, I'm kind of already done and moving on from Vancouver, San Jose, and Calgary. Edmonton will be there. Vegas will be there. To me, the question is, who's the third team in the Pacific this year? And will the fourth place team in the Pacific be good enough for a wild card? Which I would probably bet no, compared to how good the Central is. But to me, Anaheim has all the makings of a team that might arrive a little earlier than a lot of people thought of, because frankly, no one watches the Ducks. And it's painful too, because they have the worst jerseys in all professional sports as an aside. But I think Q is a huge difference maker to that team as far as accelerating and making them into a team that can win more than they lose. And it's been a wild start right now for the Anaheim Ducks.
They're plus 145 in Play Alberta to reach the playoffs right now.
Yeah, I would sprinkle on that. I mean, if we look at the West right now, like let's assume that Colorado's in, the Jets, Dallas. I think Utah is going to be either in the top 3 or in a wild card spot. So if you think those 3 teams are in, I'm going to give Edmonton a spot because we know they'll be there. I'm going to give Vegas a spot. We know they'll be there. That's 6 teams. So who are the next? Minnesota and St. Louis have had terrible starts to the season.
Yeah, I'm not as so sure of St. Louis coming up. I feel like Minnesota is just off to a bad start. I wouldn't count them out personally.
No, exactly. I will not count them out, but
Blues
they are.
I can see the Ducks ahead of the Blues. I also I do wonder about the Kraken. whether they can maintain their start to the season.
Me too. Like I'm buying Anaheim more than Seattle. I guess that's my synopsis on this. What's the Seattle number to make the playoffs there?
Seattle to make the playoffs is 290 plus 290.
Plus 290. Wow. So they're not buying them at all.
And Utah's plus 210 to make the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah.
So just
sorry. I was the yeses and nos moved on me. Utah is minus 236 to make the playoffs. My apologies. They're minus 236 to make the playoffs.
So they think they're in.
Yeah, but the Kraken are 290 to make the playoffs. Where's Minnesota on this? Minnesota's dead equal, minus 111 for yes and no.
Okay, pick them.
Yeah, full pick them on whether they're going to make it.
Run down the teams in the West. I'm very interested to see who's like minus and who's plus.
So the Avs are an easy, 33. This is just a ridiculous number. The Dallas Stars are minus 1250 to make it. The Ducks are plus 145 to make it. Flames minus 2500 to miss. So like plus 1050 to make it. Blackhawks, pretty much almost 12-1 to make it.
Wow. Oh, okay.
So not believing in them. The Oilers are minus 10-1, minus 1,000 to make it. So they're thinking they'll be in. The Kings are minus 250 to make it. So they're expecting the Kings. As I said, pick them between the Wilds. Predators are plus 420 to make it. So not believing in them. The Canucks are plus 135 to make it. So they still think the Canucks just maybe pushing on that outside. Golden Knights in. Jets, actually a little lower for them than I would have expected. Minus 476, whereas the Golden Knights are minus 2,500. Sharks are out. I've mentioned the Kraken, the Blues, plus 180 to make the playoffs. So they're in that similar spot with the Canucks.
Yeah.
And that's the West.
It's kind of interesting. As I say, I'm high on the Ducks. Maybe I'm just extra appreciative that they won for us last night and cashed that parlay. But
hey, with things how close that they are right now, they're picking up the points when they need to. This might benefit them in the long run. Like now's the time you kind of maybe want to get some of those points. And they've done 6 of their 8 wins are just straight up in regulation.
Absolutely, and they've been they've been winning big. 7-3, 7-4. I mean, they're scoring lots of goals. It's a fun team. What is the entire East just basically a pick 'em minus 111 on either side?
I'll just skim through them. Yeah, Blue Jackets plus 185, Ducks plus 120, Bruins are plus 605, so they're not buying in the Bruins right now. Sabres are plus 235. Hurricanes they have in. Panthers are minus 233 to make it, so they're not buying this start to the season for the Panthers at all. The Habs minus 200, Caps are minus 200, Lightning are minus 588, Leafs minus 286, Devils they have in. Islanders they don't not buying plus 310 to make it. Rangers are close. It's plus 105 and minus 130 from yes and no. Mm-hmm. Same with the Sens are pretty much close to that pick 'em. Flyers not buying into, and then the Penguins not buying into plus 360 for the Penguins.
Interesting.
So they're not buying that the fact that the Penguins started the season will be able to maintain.
I imagine the Islanders are pretty much of a long shot.
Yeah, the Islanders were. Are they even on here? Oh, yeah. Plus 310 for playoffs.
Okay. What about the 2 teams at the top? Montreal and Detroit. 2 teams that were far from guaranteed spots, but have had great starts and find themselves at the top of the Atlantic. To
make the playoffs, we're talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, Montreal's minus 200 for playoffs to make it. And the Red Wings are plus 120 to make the playoffs.
Okay. And that would have gone down since the start of the season.
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen a conference, and again, we're more than a dozen games in for all the teams, being so close. But again, this is why Gary loves the loser point, because it keeps everybody seemingly in the mix. Now, everyone is in the mix right now when you have 6 points separating first from last in an entire conference. But
a year Gavin McKenna is available. When do you pull that shoot if you're some of these teams? When do you just pull that shoot, or do you try to pull that shoot? Because it's no guarantee, obviously, that you finish last, that you're going to get the number one. But you've got such a talent there. And that's going to be, I'm still fascinated by that with this NHL season this year, is when do we start seeing teams go, we're selling a little bit. We need to get rid of some guys because, like, obviously the coaches and the players, they don't care. They are going to play their hearts out for the most part till the end of the season. But it's the general managers that are different. And the GMs are going to start sitting there at some point and go, okay, we need to make sure that we bottom out a little bit so that we can get Gavin McKenna. That's where I'm fascinated when that hits. And when we have such parity to start this season, there's not a lot of teams ready to you can start counting off and going, this is a team that could, fall off. This is a team that should get ready to sell. By the way, just quickly on the Atlantic, the Lightning favorite to win the Atlantic still, then followed by the Panthers, then the Maple Leafs, then the Canadiens, then Ottawa, then Detroit. So not a lot of love for Montreal or Detroit to build off this and take the division.
Teams that are at the bottom of the division. It's a great question as to when teams sort of say, okay, this isn't our year, start doing it. What we just talked about in the East, the big beneficiaries of this might actually be the Calgary Flames.
That's where I was thinking, yeah.
Because the Flames are terrible. They won their first game of the season, as you all know, against the Oilers. Since then, they're 2-9-2. They're the only team in single-digit points in the entire National Hockey League. And they've got a bunch of assets that have some significant interest around the league. I think the Flames are in a situation right now where if Craig Conroy can get his asking price, maybe a premium to move these players earlier, they do that, and it puts them in a situation where it's pretty clear what's happening right now. We don't have the horses, but we're looking ahead to our new arena, and we're looking ahead to the draft. And much like we talk about the race for the top, if they can get themselves a nice little buffer between the rest of the league, then they can go out, they can play their young players. If they win a few games, great.
Yeah.
But they still pretty much know where they are, because this team isn't going anywhere this year.
Nor should they want to.
No, and listen, last year, when you think about what Calgary was able to do, it was beyond everyone's expectations. But I get why they didn't trade a bunch of the guys when they did, because the players in that room had really earned the opportunity to, they played right down to the final game of the season. So I understand why they did that. But with this start, it's very clear what the situation in Calgary is. And I don't think there's a lot of question as to what Craig Conroy is going to do. Just the question, Matt, is when and what that does to it. Because, Calgary has not really had a superstar in a long, long time.
Not since Iggy, probably.
I would, yeah, for sure. Joe McGinley was incredible.
They did have Kachuk and they did have Gaudreau, I guess. But, Kachuk wasn't at this level there that he is with his Panthers.
Those guys were star players.
Yeah.
There's the potential. If you're picking first overall and getting a guy like that, no, I'm not about to put him into the McDavid or Crosby category. But
it would be nice.
There's a non-zero chance that he'll be in that conversation by the time he gets going.
And I think just for hockey, and at least for the province that I live in right now, Gavin McKenna versus Connor McDavid, it's a nice little thing to have going on.
Oh,
be great.
Battle of Alberta in a few years with that. It would be
new barns
awesome.
Or new barn there, older barn up here because it'll be over 10 years old soon enough here. But yeah, it'd be fascinating. But yeah, I think you're right on that. Like if you're the Calgary Flames, you're Craig Conroy, you're in a great spot because by the time those teams out east maybe are making that decision that, okay, now we're out of this. Now we're falling behind the pack. It might be too late in terms of getting closer to the bottom. Again, that doesn't guarantee Calgary Gavin McKenna. We're not the NFL here, but it gives you the best chance at getting someone like Gavin McKenna. So they're live. And then you look at the team, let's like a couple of the teams that are right above. Like who's right above the Flames in the West even? It's the Blues, it's the Shark, and the Wild. and the Blackhawks. Well, the Wild and the Blues, they're gonna push hard. They're not selling off at any point. So those two teams, you don't even have to worry about trying to bottom out or anything like that. So a couple of those bottom teams, they're right there for you as well. If they're going to be gone if you're the Calgary Flames. We got 5 games tonight in the National Hockey League. Utah in Toronto. Toronto minus 154. Blues are the underdogs out in Washington. It's almost the pick 'em between the Blue Jackets and the Flames in Calgary. Canucks minus 175 against the Blackhawks, and then you got the Kraken minus 169 against the Sharks. Anything standing out to you in the NHL tonight?
Well, I mean, I am interested in this Leafs Mammoth game. Of course, Utah played last night. It went to overtime. So turning it around right away to take on a team that played Monday night, not a great spot for Utah. But I'll tell you what, I mean, the Leafs prevented an absolute disaster with that game on Monday. I know we just touched on it, but I mean, they were down 3-0 after the second period and come back with 4 to win. I don't see a lot of consistency in Toronto right now. And Utah has a lot of jump. We saw them come in on the second end of back-to-backs and beat the Jets here in Winnipeg a week ago. So to me, this is not an easy win or, just take advantage of the schedule and jump on the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Blues, I keep on expecting the Blues to sort of wake up and be a much better team. Maybe tonight is that night. Washington's been pretty mid so far this year.
Well, they're coming off the win off against the Oilers, the comeback win for Monday night.
Yeah.
That kickstart their season.
I mean, fading the Flames has been a pretty good run, although the Flames actually are a favorite. The Flames might not be a favorite more than another 5 or 6 times the entire season. So maybe this is a time to pick on Calgary as a favorite and fade them on the other side. Sharks at the Kraken. To me, the Sharks are just so much fun to watch. I don't trust them very much, but man, I'll sit down and watch a game with them. And then Chicago and Vancouver. These are all really, pretty tight lines. I mean, the biggest favorite of the entire night, I guess, is the Kraken and the Canucks in those games at the end. I mean, I'm thankful to Utah for helping us get that win last night. Can they go back to back and beat Toronto? It would be a pretty typical Toronto thing to have that big emotional win and then take one step back right away by losing to a upstart team on the second end of back-to-backs. You got any leans on these other games?
Yeah, I'm not. I think the Blues, not a great start on Monday, found a way to get the victory. I don't think that is the turning point. I think the Washington Capitals, I like them at home for this one. Flames, Blue Jackets, you're right. Like you're not going to see the Flames too often being the favorites many more times this season. I'm not going to be a guy that's going to be betting on the Blue Jackets to get victories right now, but I'm also not a person that's going to be betting on the Calgary Flames or anything like that. So that's one kind of I would stay away from. Leafs have won 2 in a row. And they did get that little bit of a rest. But I do like the Kraken to beat the Sharks, and I do like the Canucks to get past the Blackhawks.
I listen, I would roll with Columbus if you want. Like, they lost to the Islanders 3-2. They'd won 6 of 7 before that and beat some pretty good teams. I mean, they beat St. Louis, they beat Toronto, doubled them up 6-3. Beat Buffalo, who've been playing better. Beat Pittsburgh, who's been at the top of the league. They lost to the Caps 5-1. And before that, beat Dallas 5-1 in Dallas and beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, they're just one of those anonymous teams that even when they're good, no one's paying attention to. So we don't really it takes a month for people to realize, oh, Columbus is, they won 9 of 10. What's going on? And as I say, I don't have a lot of faith in Calgary against just about anybody. Who's the underdog that's winning tonight? That's where we need to find out. I mean, I guess Columbus could be that.
Columbus would be the underdog officially, with the number there. If I had to go with an underdog winning tonight, I almost want to say the Blackhawks, but they've lost 3 straight. Canucks just got past the Preds. Ultimately, I think as much as I'm not fully, I think it might be the Blues, maybe just because they are coming off that big come from behind win against the Oilers, and maybe that kickstarts them. And when you look at the Washington Capitals, we expect better from them, but they are still sitting right there, not having the start of the season that they were looking for. They're at the right near the bottom of the East with the Florida Panthers. To me, if I had a bet on an underdog tonight and taking Columbus out of that, I think they're the most likely to maybe do it. I'm not sold on them doing it, but I think they're the most likely to do it.
Here, Washington had a pretty nice start. Their last 4 games, lost 7-1 to the Sens, shut out 1-0 by Dallas, lost at home 3-1 to the Islanders, and lost 4-3 in Buffalo. 4 straight losses. They are back at home. I guess these last few games have just been one at home, one on the road. It hasn't really been a road trip. So what is anyone saying in the chat? Is Duck Dad cranking anyone? Sharks playing means take the over. I like that one, Duck Dad. I definitely like that one.
Over under 6.5 in that one.
I'm always in for an over in the Sharks game, and it's looks like a pretty good number too. We'll see. I don't know whether Joey Daccord will play. He's been playing a lot of the other games. Maybe this is the one that he sits out. You want to do so you still like Washington?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Yeah, everything's unconfirmed right now for the late games right now. Well, I have right now I have over under Sharks Kraken game over 6.5.
Yeah.
I have the Blue Jackets at -103. I do have the Canucks money line at -175. That's plus 519 right now for a little bit of a parlay.
Canucks over and Caps?
No, Canucks, Blue Jackets, and over.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Yeah, we can roll with the Vancouver. But yeah, Blue Jackets right around even money. What's the number on over 6.5? Is it plus money?
Yeah, plus 100.
Yeah. So we got 2 even monies, and then we throw the Canucks on. We bang that sucker.
I like that. I'll throw that out to the Play Alberta crew to get up there on EST specials. Quickly, Shane Bieber opting in, staying with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Wild. I couldn't believe that when I saw it last night, Maddie. We were just talking about this yesterday, and I didn't rule out him coming back to Toronto, but I didn't think there was any chance he was going to opt in to a $16 million deal when I was certainly thinking that there'd be a 5-year deal at 20 to 25 a year for him out there on the open market.
Unless teams aren't sold on that yet.
Apparently not.
That, or he wants to have a full year where he plays really well and then goes to the market, signs his 5-year deal, and instead of 20-25, he's looking 25-30.
I guess. There must be some major insurance tied into this. But bottom line is, it is such a great sign. As depressed as everyone's been coming out of the weekend and losing Game 7, for that to happen so early, I think is massive for this Jays offseason. It gives a real message that even the guys that just showed up in the middle of last year and were a part of that team want to stay a part of it. And, Bieber's an absolute stud. The guy won the Cy Young before. He came back and, was a very good version of himself. Now you're going to give him a full offseason to get in right out of the gate. That's a big, big win for the Jays. To be honest, I think a number, I know when we talk about $16 million a year for you and I was like, what the hell?
It's one of the highest paid players in the National Hockey League. In baseball, It's nothing.
I don't even think Max Scherzer probably made more last year on his 1-year deal. I think he was right in that area. So I was really excited.
Yeah, he was 15.5.
Yeah, so basically you're getting Bieber at Max Scherzer money. Scherzer's another guy that said yesterday that he and his family just fell in love with Toronto. he said he doesn't feel like he's thrown his last pitch. I'm not sure whether he can be a regular member of a starting rotation. I mean, we saw this year. Now, listen, that was money well spent with what he ended up doing in the playoffs and a couple times in the stretch. But I mean, remember his last couple starts of the regular season? He wasn't even on the roster in the ALDS. But people do love Mad Max, and I think he's a great guy to have on your team. Tons of great experience. And in the biggest moments, he came up and really did some good things for the Blue Jays. So
can the Blue Jays get out of Jose Berrios?
Now he's probably got 4 more years?
So according to Sport Track, he's got 1 more year before an opt-out. He has a player opt-out available in 27, where he'll then make $24 million. I don't know why he would opt out, because I don't know if anyone's going to be paying him $24 million. Next year he's at $19 million, but he's got 3 more years. That if you could get that money off your books if you're the Toronto Blue Jays. Because he wasn't hurt. He did not want to pitch out of the pen.
And you know what the other thing was that was weird? He was the only guy. Like, did you ever see him during the playoffs?
I don't remember hearing his name at all through this entire run.
He wasn't on the roster, so I get it. But I mean, if you saw injured players, some of the other guys, they were all around. Like, they were there with the club, and I never saw Berrios once.
No.
So, I mean, hey, if there's a spot that they might be able to move him to, maybe that happens. I don't know how many takers there will be at that number for Berrios. But I also say that there's not I'd say there's a chance if he comes back to training camp, he could go in and be a real serviceable guy throughout the year. I mean, he had a tough end of the season. They had some other really good options. Like once you bring in Trey Savage and all of a sudden you've got this stud, you're like, who's the odd man out? Well, he was the odd man out. Scherzer was the odd man out at the beginning of the DS.
I just wonder his commitment to the team. Like that's like if Berrios is a guy that you come and he wants to come and be in your pen next year or something. Okay, cool. Like you could try to figure that out with him. But for a guy that, you know, the story was late in the season doesn't want to be coming out of the pen, doesn't want to be doing that. And then all of a sudden, to me, quote unquote, gets injured going into the playoffs and then isn't on any of the rosters. Not that full team guy, which goes against what that team was this year. And especially through those playoffs, which was a very team first type of attitude. And I don't know how much he fits fully into that. And that's where I feel like, how do you dump that money in a way and try to get something else? Or maybe there's a team out there that will take the shot at him at being a starting pitcher that doesn't care as much. So we'll see where that goes. Are you worried at all about Bichette?
I mean, I certainly don't have a lot of... I think 50-50 is probably the most optimistic I can get to with him. And like Dusty and I think touched on this a bit yesterday. If you'd asked me this 2 months ago, I would have said this is probably the last run. But I do think that this playoff run and, you know, what they were able to do and him coming back, and I do think that maybe changed the equation. Like, I think it'll be tough for him to leave.
I agree.
And I think that Rogers knows his importance to the team. The story of he and Vlad coming up together all along, getting to this point together, it'd be really disappointing. It would leave a huge hole in the batting order if he's gone. So I think they work hard. I had Josh Goldberg on a couple days ago, and he said, I'll maybe give it a slightly better than 50-50 chance. Let's go 55-45. But this is a big decision for Bo. There's going to be life-changing money on the table from a number of teams. And the best hope that the Blue Jays have is that the magic of this playoff run was so infectious that he's like, you know what? I got to come back and be part of this group, which I'd love to be a part of, that has a chance to win and keep on doing what I'm doing in Toronto. With
Vladdy Jr., it was like, I think from a lot of Blue Jays fans, that they just give him the money, give him what he wants. Is that the same with Bo? Is it or if somebody else is going to overpay and beat the Rogers, do you think Rogers has to match that for Bo Bichette? Like, should it come down to money if Bo Bichette's not a Blue Jay, or just the fact that he just chose to go somewhere else?
I honestly think the money will be there. I think maybe the biggest factor in all this is where he's going to play, because he's been a shortstop all his life. The Jays are, there's no argument. The Jays are better in the field with Jimenez at shortstop. I mean, he is Gold Glove, like one of the best in the entire league, and Bo isn't that. Can he handle moving over to second regularly? That, I think, is a big question. I mean, shortstops that have been shortstops all along, I mean, they're not looking to move. But again, he apparently said when he returned to the lineup, he was the one that suggested that he play second. So I think there's a few variables that are going to affect this. But to your question just about the cash, I'm not sure that there's a team that's going to value Bo Bichette so much more than the Blue Jays do, that they put an offer on the table to him that Toronto looks at and says, listen, that's just way too much for Bo. We'll spend our money elsewhere.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm just reading a TSN article, and they have Blue Jays favorite to sign Bichette. Yankees, Braves headline the chase to the pack. I don't know how the Yankees would even get. Like, I don't know how you sign with the Yankees.
Oh, that would be, I mean, the worst case scenario is Yankees or Dodgers.
Yeah, and now look, it could happen. Johnny Damon went and signed with the New York Yankees, and that he came from the Boston Red Sox. That's a big jumping of division rivals. I just don't know how you go through this run here and everything that happened and then jump to the New York Yankees. I think if Bo Bichette's not with the Toronto Blue Jays, it's not the Yankees, it's not the Dodgers. I can't see with how close he is with Vladdy that he'd do that. It's the same as like to agree. Like, well, I didn't think Connor and Leon would leave. Connor would leave Leon here in Edmonton. I'm not going to go as far as say Bo and Vladdy would stay together. I just don't think Bo would go to the New York Yankees of something like that. What'd you make of NFL trade deadline?
I was blown away that the Colts were as aggressive as they were.
2 firsts for cornerbacks. Great cornerback in Sauce Gardner, but 2 firsts for a cornerback. You don't see that every day.
No, I mean, that tells you a couple things. First of all, Danny Dimes is going to be the quarterback moving forward for the Indianapolis Colts. And, he's such a fascinating, like basically we're saying, oh, you got to get a good rookie quarterback and you got to win on the rookie deal. There's now a new tier in the NFL of guys that were really highly picked, that people thought a lot of, that face planted in their first or second spot, that become value reclamation projects. And we're looking at it with Baker Mayfield in Tampa, Sammy Darts in Seattle.
Had it with Ryan Tannehill out in Tennessee.
And now Daniel Jones. Yeah, I guess Tannehill did go in and play there for a bit. I mean,
he got them to the playoffs after the Dolphins. It was a disaster with the Dolphins.
I mean, Seattle, Tampa, and Indy right now are probably 3 of the top 5 teams by record in the in the National Football League. But the Colts, I mean, that's an aggressive move. Like, if I'm a Jets fan, I'm fired up today. I mean, you move off 2 pieces of a really good defense that wasn't you winning any games anyways, and you get 3 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and A.D. Mitchell. I mean, I know Joe Douglas takes a lot of heat, and rightly so, but I listen, the draft capital they got back, if you're doing a rebuild, like, do it. And they just did that in a big way yesterday. I mean, from the Colts perspective, the other funny thing about this was, and why it was so far off the radar, Matt, was that Sauce Gardner just extended with the Jets like a few months ago. So, a lot of the signing bonus has been paid. The Jets are going to have, I think, $13.5 million of dead cap money. So not a massive amount that's going to completely kill them. And Indy gets a player that's already signed in their backfield, in their defensive backfield for the next 5 years. And you put him out there, Charvarius Ward, that defense just got a lot better. And I think they're going to be able to play him more inside which is good. Like he actually over the course of the last sort of 12 months has fallen off from that Pro Bowl level. I don't know how much of it is just playing on the Jets with what they've been dealing with, but he's had a lot more penalties and those sort of things. But listen, the guy can absolute play. I am surprised they had to give up 2 first-rounders to get him. But they're being aggressive right now, and I'll tell you what, they've earned that. You know how we talk about teams, earned, like they forced their general managers to do things. They did it. I'll tell you what, from a Chiefs perspective, I was a little disappointed. Apparently, and again, believe what you will, but SNY reporting that the Chiefs only offered a 4th-round pick for Breece Hall. The asking price was a 3rd-rounder, and that's why he didn't get traded.
I love how protective GMs are of their picks. I love how protective they are of their draft picks and how valuable they fully believe. And look, you have those hits there, but you're the Kansas City Chiefs. I think you can afford to lose a 3rd-round pick for a year to get a guy like Breece Hall to try to put you over the top once again.
Especially when you look at I guess the question is how good is Breece Hall right now? I think he's good. I think he'd be a big
He's playing
upgrade.
for the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing we have to. He's playing for the New York Jets. That's the issue here. The one thing I will say about the Jets, they'll bring in and all that capital is it's one thing to have that capital. The other thing is you have to execute on that capital. And I'm just not sold on the New York Jets executing on all this draft capital.
No, the funniest thing would be is if Joe Douglas gets all these picks and then gets fired and they get someone that's going to come in and actually make the picks. Like, if you were going to take over a job as a GM that wanted to go in with some sort of a clean slate, the situation in New York, not in the short term, but maybe over the long term, like the next year's draft with the quarterbacks that are coming out, they've got 3 first-rounders. I mean, they'll be able to call their shot. They want to go up to 1 or 2 or wherever they have to be. They've got the capital to do it.
So they could go up, draft a quarterback, will be a bust, go somewhere else and do well. And the Jets go through another rebuild 4 years from now.
Yeah.
That's
Sammy
Darnold. Rinse, repeat, all of that stuff with the New York Jets. It's just what they do. One thing I will say, though, about the Jets is that I don't often recall seeing teams go through the full fire sale in the NFL. We see it in other sports. Twins, was it this year? Twins fire sale in Major League Baseball. You don't see that too often in the National Football League. And the Jets went out yesterday and did a little bit of that fire sale. And I know Sean Bell, he's a Dolphins fan. He was sad that the Dolphins couldn't do that fire sale because they had a lot of players up, but nothing really happening there. We'll get into Thursday Night Football tomorrow, as we'll have the Raiders taking on the Broncos, a game that matters to those Kansas City Chiefs. Hoping that the Raiders can do a little bit of magic. And then I think probably tomorrow we'll get a little bit into the Canadian Football League because Friday will be a lot of the NFL. Did you see Live Golf going to 72 holes?
Yeah, I did catch that yesterday. I laughed, of course. So now let me get this straight. Live Golf is 72 holes. The guys play in the 4 majors if they're eligible and 14 live events. The PGA Tour is 72 holes. The players play the 4 majors and the 12 signature events and anything else that they want to play.
Yeah.
Basically, we've just split the best of world golf and it reminds me of baseball back when the AL and the NL never played each other. You'd have like the Blue Jays and the Expos playing.
You'd have like 2 series or whatever. Yeah.
Well, but even before that, there was no interleague play.
Yes.
I mean, and except for when you get to those 4 big tourneys, basically being the playoffs. So, I mean, the thing about it is the PGA Tour had an amazing year last year. I mean, their ratings were incredible. They've sort of gotten through this. Live, I mean, continues to hemorrhage cash, but it really doesn't matter. They've got unlimited money. So I think that there's a little level of hubris right now with the Live Tour in that they don't want to admit it has been the colossal failure that it's been.
Yeah.
This merger that was agreed to 29 months ago obviously isn't happening. And the players on the Live Tour are saying, guys, for crying out loud, we need world ranking points if this is going to be our long-term home.
But I saw some stuff today. I have to go digging into that. It might not help getting, because they'll likely now get some ranking points in this. But so many guys have fallen that it's not going to get them a lot of points because there's not, top golfers playing in these events because they've already fallen so far down the standings that it's not. I don't know how the full details work, but I'm assuming that the points. It'll take a long time to get back up there, but I don't think these events are going to give a lot of points because there's not a lot of golfers that, based on the world rankings, are golfing in these tournaments. While we know they're great golfers, the ranking in the computer system or whatever it is says that they're not great golfers, so there's not a lot of points. It's not going to be viewed highly for those rankings. I have to do a little bit of digging into that, but it might not even help them too much with the world ranking points. And then I brought this up at the start of the show. LIV, it stands for 54. That was why.
Hilarious.
Right? Like that's so what funny. They started off this whole thing. That's why they're named Live Golf. And now we're at the 72 holes and they don't allow shorts anymore. And it's golf is a mess in many ways. PGA had a great year. They're benefiting still. They're doing well, but it sucks for the golf fan. It just sucks for the golf fan that all this happened.
I mean, it certainly added a lot more to the majors.
Yeah.
The majors didn't really need anything added to them anyways. They already were great. They're going to be fine on their own no matter how things go. So yeah, I mean, to me, it's been broken for a while. I guess the big winners in all of this has been the players. I mean, like there's all these $20 million purses and everything like that.
Yep.
So Liv's done a great job of disrupting. They've done a great job of making a lot of guys rich. They haven't done a great job of establishing their product as a legitimate alternative or viable competitor to the PGA Tour at all. Nobody cares. And the guys that are sitting there are going like, okay, like what's the future for this? Like, I don't think we're going to be talking about can the Range Goats repeat the team champion? Like the team stuff is completely secondary, even though they'll tell you it is differently. And it's been marketed poorly. Nobody cares. A lot of people still don't particularly like where the money's coming for it. And here we are. So I hope they figure it out. But going forward, it's still going to be the majors. We'll look at a few of the other PGA Tour events and let me know what's happening on Live because nobody's paying attention.
What's coming up on WST?
Well, we're going to talk lots of Jets. We'll break down last night's game. I know a lot of people went to bed early or didn't hear coach, so we'll break down that. We will talk about the CFL offseason for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. John Hodge from 3 Down Nation is going to come by and join us. And we'll also have we're going to talk a little curling today.
Nice.
Maddie. John Cullen on curling. One of my favorite guys to talk about. Hilarious dude. Setting up the upcoming Olympic trials for
very soon.
Out in Nova Scotia. You're absolutely right. It is. It was funny, actually. Kathy Gauthier, who does the color for TSN, was actually in the stands in LA last night cheering on the Jets, and they gave her a little bit of time. And her son Jacques is, I believe, the third on the McDonald rink. Some young guys, 22 years old, out of Winnipeg, that just got the last spot in the Olympic curling trials. So he's going to fill us out on what's going on in the Grand Slams. We'll talk a little NFL as well, but a lot of hockey and Bomber talk coming up on the show just around the corner.
Love it. Enjoy that. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Haas.
Take it easy, Matty.
Haas Remus coming up. Winnipeg Sports Talk. Go check them out on YouTube. Coming up here on Edmonton Sports Talk, presented by Play Alberta. We've got the Oil Stream. We got EST Afternoons. We got the Reed Wilkins Show. That's all until 6 o'clock. I have thrown up the Lock Shop parlay, so it should be up momentarily at Play Alberta, playalberta.ca, EST specials. Canucks money line, Blue Jackets money line, Sharks cracking over 6.5 goals. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta. On behalf of us, I'm Matt. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Oil Stream in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.